What if Rome invented the steam engine and changed the world? Imagine the Colosseum at dawn. The marble is cold, the city still sleepy, and then, beneath the arena, gears engage, pistons hiss, iron wheels bite into oak. A hidden engine coughs to life, exhaling steam like a dragon on a leash. Rome, the city of emperors, just found a new kind of fire. Here's what really happened. In the 1st century, a man named Hero of Alexandria built a toy. A clever globe, pierced by bent nozzles perched on a pivot. Heat water below, steam jets spin the sphere. The Aeolipoli, spectacle, not revolution. The Romans marveled, shrugged, and went back to watermills, windmills, and muscle. And they were not fools. The Roman world ran on calculation. They had aqueducts that walked over valleys, roads that stitched together continents, water wheels ground grain and sawed lumber. But cheap labor was everywhere, enslaved, conquered, indebted. Why build a contraption when 100 backs would do? Fuel, too, was tricky. Mediterranean forests could be stripped bare. Good, dense coal sat far away, in Britain, along the Rhine, under cold skies at the edge of empire. The math wasn't obvious. Innovation needs more than a gadget. It needs incentives, institutions, and metals that don't explode under pressure. Ancient furnaces could make fine steel swords, but the uniform, thick iron plates for strong boilers, precision valves and pistons, that asks for a different world. So the Aeolipoli stayed a wonder, an afternoon demonstration in a scholar's courtyard. Fast forward to Britain, 1700s. High wages, deep coal mines flooding with groundwater, and a hungry market for power. Enter Savory, Newcomen, Watt. The steam age finally ignites. Mills hum, ships crawl against the wind, empires sprint. But what if those ingredients, coal, need, craft, and vision, had aligned in Rome 1,000 years earlier? Let's tilt the timeline. Alexandria, late 1st century. Hero isn't alone. He stands on the shoulders of Ctesibius, master of pumps. In our world, their inventions impress patrons and priests. In this one, a new prefect arrives, an engineer soldier with a problem. The canals silt up, mines in Spain flood, and the grain fleet from Egypt is the empire's lifeline. Pumps mean power. Reliable, relentless power. In Hero's workshop, the toy gets teeth. A bronze kettle reinforced with ribbed hoops, a lid that locks, a pipe to a cylinder, a piston sliding inside, sealed with oiled leather, and, here's the leap, a crank and flywheel assembly that turns push-pull into a spin. Cranks existed. Flywheels existed. Valves existed. Someone just had to stitch them together with stubborn patience and imperial funding. The first steam mill is ugly. It wheezes, leaks, and terrifies everyone in the room, but it drains a flooded mine at Baetica when oxen and buckets fail. In Britain, it hauls up water from shafts so deep the air turns cold. Coal, once a curiosity for bronze smiths along Hadrian's frontier, becomes the lifeblood of a machine. The empire takes note. Think of the Roman machine not as a sleek locomotive, but as a mule that never sleeps. It drives millstones when the river runs dry. It pulls saws through timber without complaint. It powers bellows that roar air into furnaces, making fires hotter than breath and bellows alone. That one detail, steam-blown furnaces, changes everything. Hotter fires, more uniform iron. Iron leads to more reliable boilers. More reliable boilers lead to bigger engines. A feedback loop hums quietly into existence. The center of gravity shifts. Rome still shines, but the frontier provinces, Coal Britain, Iron Gaul, the Rhine workshops, suddenly matter more than marble. By the 2nd century, a new bureaucracy exists. The Officium Foci, the Office of the Fire, setting standards for boilers, distributing licenses, collecting a tax on coal. Guilds of Fabbri, the craftsmen, guard their secrets and train apprentices who speak the language of valves and tolerances. Now ask, does this stop the fall of Rome? Not instantly. The empire still wrestles with the same headaches: succession crises, rebellions, long borders. But logistics are warfare, and steam is logistics made metal. Steam-driven riverboats push up the Rhine against the current, carrying grain to starving garrisons in winter. Sawmills on the Danube spit out planks for fortifications faster than axes ever could. And those bellows? They feed furnaces casting bolts and plates in bulk. The Legion's kit gets heavier, sturdier, more standardized. Suppliers prosper not just in Italy, but in Trier, Lugdunum, Londinium. When the 3rd century storms arrive, plagues, usurpers, invaders, imagine a Rome that can move grain, wood, iron, and men faster than the river or the wind alone allows. Imagine a state that can drain swamps, clear silted harbors, and keep mines dry year-round. The crises still bite, but the system resists collapse because its arteries are pressurized. Christianity spreads in this world too. It spreads through cities thick with smoke and opportunity. Monasteries become libraries with workshops attached. Scriptorium on one side, forge on the other. Monks copy gospels while apprentices plane iron to mirror flat faces. Piety meets precision. By the time Diocletian divides authority, he also divides industry. He designates energy districts. The Northwest, coal and iron. The Nile, grain and river transport. Anatolia, textiles, timber, ship frames. The state caps prices not just on bread, but on boilers and pistons. Standardization sneaks into law. A boiler of class II must withstand so many blows on the proving stand, must weigh so much, must carry the stamp of a licensed Faber. Inspectors travel with legions. Failures mean fines. Explosions mean exile. On the sea, it's too early for ocean-crossing steamers, but imagine coastal galleys with compact engines driving paddle wheels in calm harbors, tucking into windless coves, sneaking through long blockades. Steam tugs herd bulky grain barges through the crowded ports of Ostia and Alexandria, shaving days off schedules. It's not glamorous, but it's decisive. Across the map, the Sassanid Persians watch. Rome's frontier forts smoke by night with furnace glare. Scouts count paddle wheels and hear the hiss of engines in river towns. Where iron flows, ideas flow. Delegations arrive in Ctesiphon to hire Roman artisans at offendingly high wages. Secrets leak. The Silk Road carries more than silk. Pistons ride east in the memories of defectors and merchants. Here's where the world tilts further. China is no stranger to mechanics, bellows, and fine metalwork. They already have piston pumps in texts and echo a tradition of ingenious devices. In this timeline, the knowledge congeals earlier, reoriented around one obsession: pressure. Somewhere along the Yellow River, a furnace master builds a stronger kettle. A court official sponsors it to irrigate fields during drought. 2 engines and 2 empires hum across half a world, competing without understanding that competition is happening. What about gunpowder? In our reality, it flickers to life in China centuries later, then creeps west on a slow fuse. In the steam timeline, the demand for harder metals and precision borings pulls chemistry forward. Stabilized quincebark gum? Purified saltpeter? Not yet. But bellows-fed furnaces can cast thick-walled tubes and bore them smoother. The first true artillery may appear earlier, not as cannons blasting stone walls to powder, but as stout siege engines launching iron bolts with small explosive charges. Siege warfare changes. The cost of walls rises. The value of mobility soars. This creates a strange map. Rome is still imperium, but less Mediterranean and more Rhineland. Latin still rules, but speaks with a northern accent. Londinium grows into a soot-streaked port city with a temple to the fire that guards the coal docks like a shepherd. Trier, not Rome, may become an emperor's preferred base, a stone's throw from mines, mills, and the veins feeding the empire's iron heart. Would the Arab conquests roll so far, so fast in the 7th century if the Eastern Empire's shipyards hum with paddle tugs, its arsenals cast iron plates, its grain flows year-round? Perhaps not. Egypt might be held through famine and flood with machines that keep canals clear and granaries full. Or perhaps a different pressure breaks the dam. Religious fervor, tribal unity, or a well-led cavalry still bleeds an empire stretched thin. Technology bends history, it does not handcuff it. Now leap oceans. Without a magnetic compass or trig tables refined for blue water sailing, Rome doesn't cross the Atlantic on steam. Not yet. But think about the stepping stones. Better gears, standardized screws, reliable pumps, ball bearings. Those do something subtle. They make precision cheap. And cheap precision is the mother tongue of science. Astrolabes turn truer. Water clocks keep steadier time. Astronomers predict eclipses with more confidence. The habit of measuring, testing, and proving creeps from shops into schools. By the 5th century in this world, a Roman scholar in a clean tunic stands in a workshop and says something bold. Let's quantify it. How hot before the valve lifts? How long before the piston seizes? He writes it down. He repeats it. He changes one thing and tests again. He's not doing modern science, but he is rehearsing the lines. There are costs. Forests fall faster in Gaul. Rivers carry silt from scarred hills. Coal smoke stains ceilings and lungs alike. Wealth concentrates around mines and mills. Senators marry iron merchants and pretend they always did. Guilds grow powerful and prickly. Strikes and sabotage appear as words and realities in Latin. The empire learns a new kind of politics, one where the mob not only cries for bread, but for cheaper coal and safer boilers. Outside the borders, neighbors adapt. The Goths who once saw Rome's stone now see its smoke. They do what humans always do. They copy. A Gothic king hires a rogue Faber to build a water-lifting engine in a captured town and keeps it as a royal secret. A Frankish warband raids for iron, not gold. Techniques diffuse, sometimes with shared know-how, sometimes at spear tip. Let's pause and picture the moment everything might have gone differently in our world. The long, slow falling apart of the Western Empire. Now imagine a Rome too expensive to kill, not invincible, just a pain to extinguish. When a city falls, its engines are prizes, not just statues and gold. The conqueror keeps the workshops running because the workshops feed the army. Instead of collapse into dark silence, the western provinces fray into smoky successor states clustered around mines and rivers. Think Romano-British kingdoms that are black with soot and alive with craft. Think Gaulish magistrates who rule from foundry towns, stamping coins with cogwheels and laurels. 1,000 years of history tip in strange ways. The medieval monastery is still a place of prayer, but also a patent office, granting privileges to inventors under the watch of abbots who bless machines that grind grain and copy scripture. University curricula lean mechanical earlier. Natural philosophers keep a hand in oil and charcoal grit. Across the steppe, the stirrup and compound bow still matter. But the riders meet armies that move food by river against the current with engines that do not tire. Sieges last less. Supply lines stretch farther. The balance shifts from cavalry shock to logistics domination sooner. The first real nation states, rooted in tax offices, minting presses, and the metronome beat of standardized production, arrive earlier than in our world. In the Indian Ocean, the monsoon still rules, but steam nibbles at its edges. Ports like Berenice and Muziris see tugboats that move cargo year-round inside harbors, smoothing the pulses of seasonal waves. Trade becomes less feast and famine, more steady pulse. Merchants plan on calendars instead of prayers. And the ideas? They move with the ships. A Syrian mechanic writes a treatise on pressure tolerances that finds its way to a scholar in Chang'an. A Chinese hydraulics expert returns the favor with a design for a piston pump that doesn't eat its own seals in a month. Two civilizations argue politely across deserts and mountains with diagrams and dimensions. By the time Europe, if we can still call it that, would have discovered printing in our timeline, this world is already printing shapes. Woodcuts of valve diagrams, standard mold patterns for boilerplates, catalogs of parts you can order by number. Gutenberg will still matter, but he will not be alone. The habit of making identical things reliably has become a way of life. This then is the wager. Give the Roman world not a miracle, but a head start. A feedback loop where demand for iron makes hot furnaces make better iron makes safer boilers make demand explode. History doesn't jump to smartphones. It grinds forward with gears and soot and law codes that tell you exactly how thick a plate must be to call itself safe. Midway question for you. If Rome had harnessed steam this early, do you think it would have survived as a single empire? Or splintered into rival industrial states fighting over coal? Tell me your take below. And if you're into this kind of deep dive, tap like and subscribe so you don't miss the next timeline twist. Let's push further. Could a steam Rome reach the Americas? Not with oared galleys and stars alone. But picture the North Atlantic as a ladder of islands. Orkney, Faroes, Iceland, Greenland, Vinland. The Norse made that chain work without engines. In this world, a Romano-British shipwright in the 5th or 6th century builds a hybrid. Sail for speed, a small engine for calms and harbors, pumps that keep the bilge dry and the crew alive. Navigation improves faster because precision tools are cheap and timekeeping is better. A trickle of colonial contact becomes imaginable centuries earlier. Not a flood, too risky, too expensive, but a line on the map that arrives before Columbus. Or perhaps the bigger turn happens south. With steam-pumped mines and efficient harbors, North Africa stays Rome's granary. Berber confederations trade engines for horses. The Sahara is not conquered, but its edges are busier. Cities like Carthage and Leptis Magna reinvent themselves as industrial ports rather than ruins. When new faiths rise, they step into a world louder, richer, and stubbornly networked. And what of climate? Burn enough coal and you change sky and sea. In this timeline, the signal is earlier, local, and cruel. Soot darkens snow along the Alps earlier. Glaciers retreat faster. River ice thins in the north, subtly improving winter trade. Summer haze creeps into valleys. Do philosophers notice? They might, and their answers would be moral as much as mechanical. The first debates about smoke are carved into marble edicts. Burn green wood near a temple and pay a fine. Run your boilers without a chimney and lose your license. Cities begin to regulate engines as carefully as they regulate markets. Some parts of our world stay the same. People are people. Emperors still chase glory. Merchants still chase margins. Priests still chase souls. But the story changes tempo. The mechanical heartbeat starts earlier and never quite stops. Standards, measurements, tolerances, the quiet vocabulary of an industrial civilization, settle into daily life before the Middle Ages have a chance to silence them. So does Rome conquer forever with steam? No empire does. But a Rome that learns to burn rock and bottle vapor would write a longer chapter. Perhaps the West never fully collapses. Perhaps it becomes a federation of fire, provinces tied by trade, by law, and by engines humming behind city walls. Perhaps when crisis comes, it looks less like a cliff and more like a series of dangerous bends that a mechanically minded society can steer through. In the end, this alternate world isn't about a single invention. It's about a culture that decided to push a toy until it pulled the world. From a spinning globe in an Alexandrian workshop to riverboats on the Rhine, to roaring furnaces in Gaul, to stamped boiler codes in imperial law, the path is neither easy nor inevitable, but it is possible. And imagining it reminds us how fragile our own timeline is. How much had to go right, and how easily it could have gone differently. Because history is a machine with many gears. Nudge one, and the whole clock keeps different time. Steam could have started ticking early, and if it had, the map on your wall, the languages you speak, the cities that shine, the faiths that meet, might look, sound, and feel astonishingly new. So the next time you picture Rome's marble, picture iron too. Picture pistons in shadow, wheels turning in warehouses by the Tiber, a prow cutting into a windless harbor under a plume of steam. Picture an empire learning to breathe vapor long before ours ever did. And ask yourself, how many wonders in our world are waiting right now for someone to give them teeth? That's the fragile magic of what if.